Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And so excited to have you join in wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Welcome to the channel. And of course, those of you who are regulars, you know what I'm going to say next. Smash that like button. This will help get the content out to more people and will also help support the channel. Really appreciate that. Loving all the comments that have been coming through. Thank you so much for all the kind words and encouragement that people take the time to write. That does really mean a lot. And the questions that come in, of course, I do look to get back to those as quickly as I possibly can. So please be patient on that. If you have put questions in there, I am getting back to those. Links below in the description. Okay, so check those out. We have my cheat sheet in there, which has all my buy levels on this latest dip. There might have been some coins that came into those buy zones. And so again, I still feel we're in the accumulation phase of the bull market. And certainly there will be a time where we will leave behind and we'll go into phase 2 of the cheat sheet, where we'll go into the profit-taking phase of the cheat sheet there, and I won't be adding any more to the hodl bags there whatsoever, okay? All right, we're going to jump into the news, and then we're going to jump into the Bitcoin charts. Of course, I have my altcoin show coming up in a couple of hours, so please check that out as well. And we're going to start here with Bitcoin price possible. The question is, have we dipped enough? Now, we'll look at the charts in a little bit, but compared to July, August, and September, certainly not to those levels yet. And I say yet because we could still see some downside. But here we see, I like this little Marty Party here, or my English accent with Marty Party. I like the Marty Party vibe. But so I like this. There's a Binance buy wall there that's holding up the price. We'll look at that in a moment, and we'll just open this up a little bit bigger here, and you can kind of see here. This is quite a good summary, in my opinion. We've got the test the channel top. We can flush these up here. All these shorts down here. We got the buy wall. There's a bit of a channel bottom there at 55. I would have added 57 to 58 because there we would be creating a lower high there, and we would breach that. So I think he's missed that one on there, and I think that's probably but then we have this 55 here, and then obviously we have some lower ones down here to flush all of this leverage out that is here. There's just more leverage up above, okay? That's just the reality of it. So there's definitely a possibility that we could come down and take some of this stuff out. That would be a pretty big move, and that would be a pretty bearish move in October. We can see how things quickly can move and how quickly market sentiment can change as well. And I'll share my thoughts on the charts at the end of this video, what I think about what the most likely outcome would possibly be there. And the question I get asked a little bit here is the bottom in? You know, is it bottom now? Are we going to go down any further? And I'm very much a if this then that kind of trader. I trade in probabilities. Okay, you can never really trade in certainties because nothing is really that certain here. And I like this here. Many spend too much time trying to know the unknowable, asking questions like, is the bottom in? When will the top be? They can't accept the chaotic and the unknowable. A trader's job isn't to know what will happen, it's to know what they will do when certain things happen. And I do like this. I mean, this is how my mind does tick over a little bit. Price rejects, take profit. If it breaks out, hold position. If it breaks, position. If it breaks, wait for lower. And so this is the mind of a trader here. And I'm very much a builder of positions, which means that I look to identify local tops and local bottoms. And so for building a position, identify those local bottoms, which I have accurately done so for July and August, and also for September. And then I look to build positions around those local bottoms that I have accurately identified, and just that 3 month, those July, August, and September. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And then it's just basically saying, okay, we could drop it just a weensy bit lower, but I feel like the bottom is in here, bang, and you put the entry in, and then if it drops a little bit lower, you can come in. Rather than, you dip and you buy, and then it dips more and you buy, and then you dip and you're like, oh, I'm out of powder now. You try and make sure that you actually do not think that that first dip is necessarily going to be the local bottom, okay? And that helps, and that does help, and that's what I've been accurately able to do on this channel, is help identify those local bottoms. And then also, just a few days ago on this channel, I said I was taking profits at the tribal trades trend line, and we'll look at that again in a moment in the charts, and that ended up being a good decision. Okay, somebody on Binance is defending 60K like their life depends on it. Okay, so there is some buy orders in there at 60K, and we did see it bounce off 60K off the 200 EMA on the daily, which I had said before that this was a golden area to buy, accumulate at that 200 EMA on the daily. And certainly we have so far seen a bounce off that currently. So, and that's why I just said, look, people calling for 47K, it was just a little bit premature. It was just a little bit premature to call for that so soon. I'm not saying that it can't go down there. So certainly it was just, I felt a little bit premature that we're like, oh, 47's locked in. I'm like, wow, we haven't even lost the 200 EMA on the daily. What are we talking about these lower levels for right now? Certainly, if we start to lose some levels, yeah, let's bring that into the conversation. I just think it was a little bit early to bring it in right then. And every single time this signal makes a higher low on the weekly, Bitcoin starts to fly. Will this time be any different? What do you think? Red days just zoom out, and weekly, monthly, and higher. And so you can see what happens here. I'll just open this up a little bit bigger. Time we've seen here, 1, 2, 3. We've just seen Bitcoin go. Will history repeat here? I do think at some point in October we're going to see that take. I've been saying all along, usually October is the time to take off. Usually it happens around mid-October. Maybe it will bleed into the third week in October. Generally speaking, we see the dump at the beginning of October, just like we saw the dump at the beginning of September historically. We see the dump, and the low for October is usually set in the first 10 days in October, and then mid to late October is when we see it begin to take off. Will history repeat? It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Now, one of the things that I look at when thinking about is it going to be a dump or a pump is I look about, are whales taken off? Are Bitcoin leaving exchanges, or are they coming onto exchanges? Because when Bitcoin is coming onto exchanges, it usually means that people are planning to sell it. When they take it off, it usually means they're looking to hold it. Okay, this is not financial advice, of course, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? How can you not be entertained on the crypto market here? Absolutely. I know if Maximus Decimus Meridius was living in this hour, he would be entertained. And it's the largest outflow of Bitcoin from exchange since November 2022. People knew something was up there, and then bang, in January 2023, the bull market launched off, and we haven't looked back. Bitcoin going from 16K all the way up to around 73K, and we're in a little bit of a pullback now. Okay, so very interesting data there. And a lot of people have a lot of speculations, but I look at the data. Okay, I look to form my opinions, and that's all that they are. They are opinions around the data. All right, will it be October after all? And I do like this because I have talked about this multiple times here, about this July, August, September. And if you just, a lot of people in and out of trades, and that's great if you got the time to do it and the skill to do it and you're making money to do it. But if you don't have time, you got a full-time job, trading's just your side gig, this is a great way just to earn more money. And you could do the whole, and I didn't start the channel until the end of May. So let's go to this July dip here. But if you bought here in the dip that I identified back in July 4th, July 5th dip, and just bought in there and then sold when I identified the local top for you and said, hey, I'm all off the table, and then rebought back here. Saw this huge swan event here. Again, this was a pretty easy one. Identify here, and I gave you the setup here, and then sold here, and then bought here, and then sold here. And, this dip, have we dipped enough is the question. It's a little bitty dip so far. And so the level of my buying is according to the level of the dip that I see. I'm just letting you know that. That's just a little secret, a little key. And so we got a mini dip, we got a mini buy. We got a major dip here, major buy, major dip here, major buy, major dip here, major buy. This is a mini dip, and this might be all that we see, okay? And my level of buying has been accordingly. Now listen, so if you just done that, then you would have made good money. That's just one trade, two trades in the month. That's it. Buy, sell. Buy, sell, buy, sell. You've literally made, well, in total, you've made 3 trades because it's the same trade. You bought and then you sold it. You bought and then you sold it, and then you bought and then you sold it. So you just made 3 trades in 3 months. And I worked out that you probably could have tripled your money just doing that. Okay, so let's not make things more complicated than they need to be. If you're frustrated right now, it's possibly because you're over trading. Just keep it simple. And this is a trading method that I can help people with and that I teach. Okay, certainly the swing trade portfolio, a good place to start. Have one portfolio that's hodl, one portfolio that's swing, and this would be just a very easy swing pattern to follow. And sure, you could trade all the stuff in between. You could trade buy down here and sell up there and so forth. But you can also make it a little bit more simplistic, a little bit more easy. You can go in with a little bit more money. You've got more confirmation when there's blood in the streets. This is when extreme fear, you're buying, and when it's greed, extreme greed, and that's when you're selling. Okay, so when there was FOMO into Tau, that was a good sign for me to sell when everybody was FOMOing into Tau and into Sui. Okay, and so let's jump to our next article here, and so maybe it will be October after all. So as you can see here, there are over 333 million worth of Bitcoin short liquidation sitting above 66,500. A short squeeze is inevitable, okay? And so certainly keep an eye on that. There's a lot of liquidity up there, and price generally has followed where the liquidation. It's not always straight away, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to gauge because there's always going to be liquidations above and below, and sometimes the big ones are above and you think, oh, they're going to go for the big ones, but then they come down and get the little ones first before they go up and get the big ones. And this could certainly be the case here of what we just seen. They came down to get the little ones, and then we might come up and get some big ones. There's some really big ones above 70K, and there's a lot of shorts that are going to get liquidated if we get up to that level. So a short squeeze could be incoming there for sure. The October bear trap has been set. We've seen this before. Everybody chants October. There's a scary drop. Everyone gets bearish, and then it just absolutely takes off. And we can see here, 2020, there we go. There's that October drop on the open, and then off we go. And it just looked very similar playing out. And again, people keep saying, well, history history doesn't always repeat, but often rhymes. We could see a little bit of history repeating there into October. And certainly I would not be surprised if history does continue to repeat, because Bitcoin whales have been buying at a pace never seen before. Okay, and we are seeing a crazy amount of whale activity. And this is why, people ask me, about, what price should I get out of my Bitcoin? Don't get out of your Bitcoin. What are you talking about? They want you to get out of your Bitcoin. They want you to sell out of your Bitcoin. I'm not selling Bitcoin. I'm not selling my Tau. Why would I sell that? There's only 21 million of either going to be in existence. Why would sell either one of those? No, I'm holding. I'm not going to be shaken out of quality projects in the middle of a bull run. Okay, now if this starts happening right near the end, yeah, okay, it might, but by then I'll have taken so much profits off the table. Everything will be in house money and better by then, and certainly I should only have my plan is if I've timed it perfectly to only have 10% of all my allocations left in the bull run, just in case there's an extra little blow off top parabola. I want to get completely out, but I should be 90% out of the market. That is the plan at the moment. And certainly there still are some bearish situations that could take place. And since May, every rejection of the MVRV, and I mentioned the MVRV before, from its 90-day average has led to significant Bitcoin corrections. And it's only triggered a 10% drop so far, but certainly in the past, we've seen 19, 29, 26, and 16. And so, look, is possibly the bottom. It certainly is possible. And we're going to look at the charts right now because I tell you, there's some goodness there going on the chart. So right now we're sitting at around 61,300. So what did I say to you? The 200, I don't know how many times I can talk about the 200 EMA. Historically, Bitcoin, and I'll say this and I'll repeatedly say this, in a bull market, generally, this has been a golden opportunity to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin is in or around the 200 EMA. This is the same for all the altcoins, okay? Same for all the altcoins. So it generally can be a golden opportunity there if this is the case. So we've seen this come down, and there were some couple of good, 3 nice candle wicks rejection. One of them was off the 50-day. The other 2 came down and hit that pretty hard. Now we're up. Now listen, is this the end? Is this dip? So the dip for me isn't the dip the same. This doesn't look the same. Look at the dip here, the dip here, the dip here. These 3 dips were severe drops to the downside, incredible buying opportunities. This might be it. And you have to think, okay, if this is it, then I want to add some allocation. That's exactly what I did. I add some allocations here at this level because this could be the last dip before we go. But we're still on the 4th of October. So historically, there could be some more time for us to come down a little bit further. And if we were to lose the 200 EMA on the daily, then we'd be looking here at this 50 to 57 to 58K level. And I would want to see this hold. Now, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't hold and we come down here. Some people, some analysts are saying, this isn't, you can clearly see it's gone up. And this has been a small pullback here. So clearly for me, this would be creating a lower low if we were to go underneath here. But certainly here, down here would be a big one down here. And this is where we've got the order block on the Lux Algo down in that 53K zone right there. And certainly, obviously, there's that 55K level as well. We've got this big wick here of liquidity that we could come and tag. So that's what I'm looking at the moment, and I'm not looking any further below these areas. This is the first one here. Hold here, and we're golden, and then a break above 62K at the top of this ribbon here, and a retest, and that's further confirmation, and then that should lead us to test the tribal trades trend line. Again, I said I was taking profits here. I said I didn't close positions. I took profits off the table there, and take profits by putting a stop loss and moving your stop loss up, and then it drops, and then you trigger profits taking there. And there's many ways to take profits, and certainly profits there, took profits there. And we haven't been up and tested this upper trend line here for a little while. Last time we came back and tested it was back in July. So it's been some time. It's been some time there. So we are due a retest up here around that 68, 69K area. So I will say, certainly we have had so far a successful retest here. Certainly if you're late to the party, sure. Entry 61, 200, when Bitcoin gets to 100K, does it really matter if you got it 61, 200 or at 60K? Certainly, if you're looking for an entry, this is a dollar cost average. This is where I dollar cost average here, okay, right? And you're right at the 50-day moving average. So dollar cost average here. If we drop down further, then I'm going to go for a dollar cost average at 57 to 58K region. I'll add some more there. And if we drop a little bit further, then just like last time, I'm going to add some more around this 52, 53K region there. And those are the potential support zones to the downside. Certainly, at the moment, this is held up pretty strong. That's been pretty good. And certainly, I'm not looking any further down from 57, 58 at this point because we haven't even lost this level. And to the upside, obviously a break above 62, and then that should take us back to that 64 to 65K level. So the answer to the question, has this dip, have we dipped enough? Maybe we have dipped enough, and that will be it for October. But have we dipped enough for me to put some serious buys on the table? Absolutely not. We are not down in any kind of extreme fear. Obviously the RSI, we're watching this. If the blue crosses back under the red, over the top of the red, that would be fairly bullish. And then I would need to see that cross over this line here on this 20 line here. As you can see, anytime it's crossed and then crossed above this line, that's been fairly bullish up. You can see that Bitcoin there is daily, we're not even in the floor or anything. So certainly there's not a lot of extreme fear there. Definitely not blood on the streets, so to speak. There's a little bit of blood, but not a lot of blood. But as you can see also, there's a bit of resistance there for Bitcoin on the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. That's why I love the 200 EMA. You look at it on the 4 hour and you can see, I can see why Bitcoin's getting stopped there. You can see at the bottom of the ribbon on the 4 hour and the 200 EMA, and we could bang around in here for a little bit, and this could actually lead to more of a drop to the downside. So just be prepared for that. As I said, have we dipped? Has there been a big enough dip? Be prepared that this could be it, but also be prepared that this could not be it. And that way you're going to be prepared no matter what. As I said, the level of my buying has equaled the level of this dip. My buying on the July, August, and September dips were much bigger and much more liquidity going in because those dips were a lot heavier. So let's see what shakes out. We've got the altcoin show in a couple of hours. And as always, until the next one, happy trading.